Attention, bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen!
Hello, Yodelers! We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I'm your host today, Jackie. We have...
Japheth.
And...
Very, very poor. Very poor.
Peter.
Yes.
And we have...
You'll know why in a second.
We have our special guest, Father Yodeler.
Howdy.
And...
Casey's
here.
You want to be a yodeler? We call you Casey Yodeler.
You just come up with
I don't want to jump you out of it like
you can come up with a random name like I do every week and just like...
So... Peter and Casey went to Disney World.
Hence why I'm very, very...
Yeah.
Well, you guys surprised to see each other there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what are you doing here?
Oh yeah, I just had a work meeting and then oh look, the kids are here too. Wonderful.
You rip up the fast pass. I can't do that by myself.
You had your two little ones with you.
First time.
Yes.
Perfect age for going to the parks. What were their what's their ages?
4 and 8.
4 and 8.
What's their social security number?
Say, how old were you when you went the first
3.
time? 3, that's right.
A little
3.
less than 3.
Mm-hmm. And we're gonna. So this was Casey's first time ever going to Disney World.
Correct.
Which is exciting because it's always fun going to a park that like you're not.
More parks.
Yeah.
You're going to more parks.
Yeah, there's 4 parks, and you're not familiar with anything. And luckily you had Peter to kind of guide you and guide the family, but you have your own experience we want to hear.
You know, the whole trip of being the guide is your job is to make the experience great. So let's hear about the great experiences that Peter provides you for an overall good trip. Because if the trip wasn't great, it all falls on Peter's, back
It's
right
not
there.
far from the truth. It's not far from the truth.
Yes. Well, I mean, to be fair, Peter hasn't been, for at least 10 years to the park.
Did he at least show you where the pulled pork nachos were?
We did not make it that way.
Oh, that's why the trip's ruined. Okay, all right, problem solved.
Yes, so, I mean, luckily I had somebody somewhat experienced knowing what they were doing for the first time, so I wasn't completely lost navigating everything. So that was good. But, yeah, the whole experience, there's a lot of good and, some bad that I can give constructive criticism for.
So, how many days were you there for?
We were there for 5 days in the parks. Or, no, 4. I'm sorry. 4
We did
days.
4 days at Disney World, and then we did 2 days, 2 other days. We did 1 day at Legoland and 1 at Universal.
Can we mention those on
Yeah,
this
yeah,
podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're not paid by anyone, so we can say whatever we want.
However,
We've burned a lot of...
if we were paid, maybe.
Welcome to Legoland, Matterhorn Yodels, where Lego building is our world.
It just became a Lego building podcast.
Today we'll snap 4s and 2s together. Snap, snap. Ow, my fingers! It was hard getting it out.
That would be the worst podcast ever.
It's like the delicious dish from SNL where they're talking about all the food that they're eating. Like, it's just, I'm building my Darth Vader helmet. And no.
Oh, it can't be any worse than I saw an audiobook of a coloring book. I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. Line, empty, no color. What do you put in there? I was like, this is some kind of sick joke right here.
So, what was the first park you went to?
We did Magic Kingdom
Gotta
first.
start off with that.
And you were...
That was not by choice. We were kind of forced into doing that one first.
Correct. Just
because
based off of
the reservation system.
Mm-hmm.
What were your first impressions of going into Magic Kingdom? It's a little bit different because you have to... Did you take a boat?
The bus took us right up to the front.
You took the bus.
The bus took us right up front. So we didn't have to take the bus. The boat.
The ferry.
We didn't have to take the ferry or the monorail.
Oh, that
Yeah,
boat's
so you go in,
miserable.
you walk through Main Street, and you see the castle.
Right.
Cinderella's castle.
So it definitely feels like you're in the Twilight Zone for some
Dreamscape, right?
Yeah, because you're like,
Familiar.
oh, this is familiar from Disneyland, but it's not the same. You know, so that was definitely an adjustment, but, you know, I was excited, you know, open-minded. I think
Which castle's better?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe, I won't say here which one is specifically better because I like them both for different reasons. Like, I like the one...
You should run for president with that.
I know, right? No, but like when we got there, we couldn't go into the castle.
Because they do a little stage show at the
Yeah.
start of the day at Rope
Right.
Top.
And so that's kind of cool. It's like you get to see a show, but then it's like we can go into the castle, you know?
We
And
did
then,
later.
yeah, well, we walked through it, but I want to say the Disneyland castle, you actually get to go through like the
Correct.
stairs, and
Correct.
then this one you don't.
You don't
so
have
it's
that option.
like,
Unless you pay an absorbent amount of money to eat at their okay restaurant.
Chicken and mashed potatoes and
Yeah.
corn, fish.
I mean, if I'm going for aesthetic, the overall appeal, I would say Disney World, I think, is just bigger and like prettier, I guess. But I don't know. I
You
don't
like
know.
the ability to walk through the castle
Yes.
and see the dioramas.
Correct.
It's an added attraction in itself.
Correct.
It's not just something pretty to look at and then you take a photo in front of. You can actually go into and experience something.
right.
Cool.
Did your kids have any different expression or like when they first saw like the Main Street and the Cinderella castle?
Oh, and they always called the castle Mickey's house. So
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, that's cute.
that's cute.
Yeah.
It is Mickey's house.
Yeah.
Did they ever feel like they were in the Twilight Zone, or they were just, I'm in a Disney park, and that's
I think that was
great.
pretty much it.
okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I ever felt I had them feel like they were like, whoa.
Yeah.
I don't think there was ever really that moment with the kids.
Yeah.
What were your top favorite things at Magic Kingdom? Like, say, yeah, your top few things and then your worst things you didn't like about it.
Okay. I probably really like the People Mover and then the new attraction, the Snow White.
The
Roller
seven
coaster.
doors.
Oh,
Seven
Seven Dwarfs, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that one was really fun. And of course, you know, seeing your kids enjoying that as well just always makes it a better experience.
They loved it.
Yes.
They loved that ride.
Correct. They absolutely, they loved it. They
That
wanted
was
to do
like-
it again.
Well, it was funny though because that was going to be our first attraction, but I think it wasn't open yet at Rope Drop or something like that. There was something up with it that
Sleepy
we
didn't wake
go
up in time.
first thing.
Well, I think
I don't remember
we
what
were
it was.
trying to get on an attraction like first thing in the morning.
Oh,
to walk on.
because it was early entry for the people staying at the deluxe resorts,
Correct.
and so the line was already like
Over
over an hour long.
Correct.
And
I
so we're
hate
like-
it though. Like,
And so we're
extra
just
magic
like,
hours in the morning.
okay, well, let's do something else, and we got fast passes for it later. So
Right. So I would put those in my top two.
That was Haunted Mansion.
It's okay. I wanted
That's
to.
my opinion on it. Mid's okay.
Yeah. I
Your
mean,
answers will reflect in your Christmas gifts this year.
I always thought it was great.
You just gained some extra presents this year.
Right.
Pander to the audience, please.
top favorite attractions here. I'm trying to think.
What was Space Mountain like?
Oh, I was gonna say that was actually one I really did like because it was a mix between Matterhorn and Space Mountain. It's kind of like you can't really judge the two as like which Space Mountain is better. Like
They're
they're just
different.
completely
They are
different.
different.
one's more Disneyland's more turn based, whereas Disney World's more hilly.
Drops.
A lot more
Yes.
dips. Yes.
Correct. I wanna
That's
say-
a very controversial statement you just made there. It's like among a lot of fans.
Well, it's not that she said it was better.
yeah.
It's just different. It
You
stands
can't-
on its own.
Okay.
Yes, correct. It's
Still, that's still controversial. Everyone likes to poo-poo on Space Mountain at Disney World.
Oh, really? I just felt like I was on a whole different attraction, not comparable to the one at Disneyland. Because I felt like I was almost on the Matterhorn the way the tracks were moving.
Right.
Yes, and the way you sit in it as
Correct.
well.
So it's like a combination of.
Do you like the
two.
photo where you're like turning the corner and you're like, oh, I'm taking a photo. Here I am.
I like how you state that it's basically the Matterhorn, but Space Mountain.
Yeah.
And I think that's true.
It's
Yeah.
like if they had a baby, that would be it. When
Yeah.
in Disneyland. Or Disney
Space horn.
Oh, God.
Join us on the Space Horn podcast. That's what we're doing.
World.
Matter Mountain?
Yeah, I was like, I turned the Matter Mountain.
Mountain, yeah.
No, we'll change it to Mater Mountain.
Mater Mountain.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm
brother.
cheaper. That's a good idea.
Anything else in the park that you're like in Magic Kingdom that you didn't like at all?
That I didn't like.
Yeah.
Let's go negative.
Negative, yeah. I can tell you, probably my number one disappointment, and it was reality check because it was in the morning, was when we rode Small World. Just in comparison, Disneyland has all those Disney characters in their ride, and there's more things to look at. I feel like when I go to Disneyland, I'm overwhelmed with the stuff that I'm looking at, that I always feel like I find something new every time I ride that ride. Whereas this one, I just felt like there were like gaps where I just wasn't really looking at anything. There was like no Disney characters.
It's an abridged, it's a small world.
There's not as many, like, even taking out the whole Disney character thing, like, even the amount of, like, dolls is, like, far less. Like, literally, like, some countries only have, like, one, and then, like, you've got another, like, 20 feet before you run into your next doll, and it's like, okay, or you got this wall right next to you that's just a straight-up wall, and there's nothing even decorative on the wall, and it's kind of like, oh, okay. And the final scene's not very climactic and overwhelming like it is at Disneyland, where it's like everything's in white and there's like, it's this giant room. It's kind of like a half-size room with like...
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just, yeah.
I mean, I feel like there were certain rides, obviously comparable, like Splash Mountain I have no complaints. I'm like, it's almost like the same ride, just slightly different. I'm not going to sit here and poo-poo either one of them. Like, they were fine.
Oh, I hate the one at Disney World.
Really?
You just don't get wet on it.
Because you're side by side instead of
Right.
behind
Well,
each other. So.
the part I
And the
like,
logs, you're in the log deeper, too.
Yeah.
So,
right. And, I mean, I'll say this with me having young kids. My kids actually really liked the fact that I was right next to them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so...
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, just some things that, to consider.
Nope, sorry, you're going to sit in the front. Mom doesn't want to get wet. She's in the back. You just see them deathly scared. I'm scared, Mom. You're supposed to be.
I'm trying to think of the things I know that was...
How about Thunder Mountain? Thunder Mountain's a positive.
Thunder
I think people
Mountain's
like
different,
there.
yeah.
Peter was saying that it was the exact same ride of Disneyland, just like reverse.
it's mirrored.
Okay, yeah.
So instead of going right, you go left.
I like the little, like, when you, like, go back and forth a little bit on the track, how you wobble a little bit. That's different.
Oh, when you go through the town of
Yeah.
Tumbleweed.
And maybe I just didn't notice that subtle difference.
Yeah.
It's pretty subtle.
It is.
But I'm trying to think of, like, the other things. Sorry.
There was...
How about Pirates? That's notorious for being very unhappy about.
Yeah,
I
I'll say...
love the queue for the Disney World Pirates.
I agree.
Yeah, queue is good, but the ride itself, like, I missed that dip.
the second dip.
That Disneyland does.
Yeah.
Just you feel cooler.
I
there.
will say this. I do like the dip that you do get throws you right into
The ride.
Instead
Instead of just going through the cavern.
Right. Like, but not to say, like, one's better than the other. But I can say, like, that is one aspect of that attraction that I do like, that, like, when you do drop, it throws you right into the heart of the attraction.
I mean, I would say the one thing that probably Disney World has better with Pirates is Disneyland has too many boats. I think, at the end of the attraction, and
So you
get this like whiplash every time you're waiting to go up that ramp. Or whatever at the end.
They need Autopia rules. No bumping the boat in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the ride. It just like it can honestly ruin the experience because you're like, ow, and then two more boats come behind, and
It
it
gets
just.
loud in there with that chain as you go. It's like.
Yeah.
But I do still like the dip. But the other one didn't have. Disney World doesn't have that
Second
issue
Mhm.
of the whiplash kind of thing.
Okay.
You mentioned the weather briefly there, so I've just got to bring it up. You went in the dead of summer.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was quite the adventure.
It was.
You prayed for rain.
Yes.
There was definitely that moment where I'm like, it needs to rain today. I need it to rain
The
today.
sad thing is when it rains, it
It
doesn't feel any better.
No.
Like it's like while it's raining, you're like, this feels good, and then the humidity
After.
hits you, and you're like, oh no, this was a mistake in believing this would
Well,
be
it's
better.
funny though, because like I looked at the weather report and it was supposed to rain every single day, and it only rained like
3 o'clock.
2 or 3 of the days we were there
Right.
the whole week.
Right.
It
I want to
was
say
once-
Magic Kingdom felt like the worst day of the trip when we went, but that was our first day.
It was also Sunday, so it was a weekend.
Correct. And my body hadn't gotten accustomed to that
Adjusted.
weather.
Yeah.
So I think I was having a hard time. I bought so many fans that day. It was ridiculous. Like any store that had offered like a fan, I was like, okay, let me try this one.
And it was garbage.
Yeah.
And then we'd go find another one, and that one wasn't very good.
It's like
And
one
then-
had a mister, the other one had a mister and a blower, and it didn't really blow very well. And then I bought another fan that actually had a good blower, but then I don't know if the kids broke it because
Yeah,
they
they
broke the fans. So anyways,
Then they had to walk behind you with a pom
I needed
Yeah.
it.
oh,
That's for sure.
that
I will say this. This is a pro tip that I learned on the trip. So like we talked about getting a stroller or something like that, but wheelchairs are cheaper than strollers. And if you tell them that you're gonna get it for multiple days, they'll give you a discount for each day that you do it. So
Correct.
so we did wheelchairs.
Pro tip.
It is. I
Pro
would consider
tip.
that a tip at
Get
Disney
a
World.
wheelchair instead of a stroller.
Right, because we fit both our kids in there, and then my wife, she would sit in there, and the kids would sit on their lap, and it just all the pain and suffering was left on me to push them up a hill,
we gave
But
you
they were
turns
good.
at the end.
Yeah, they gave me about like 20 minutes at the end of the day.
You know,
where I'm
when
just
they're
like,
off to the bathroom, you got to sit in the chair, right?
Yes. That
No, they're boys. I had to take them to the bathroom.
Come on, you'll be fine. Just get in there.
My pro tip is November and February.
It's awesome.
It's true.
Well,
Yes.
put this out there. This was a very spontaneous trip. It was literally thrown together the week we left. The idea
Yes.
of like, let's go to Disney World. Because
Yes.
there's not going to be a better time than right this week.
I love those like spontaneous.
And so
like,
this was a very
decisions.
spontaneous trip. There
Just
was
the way
hardly any planning involved. We got what we got. Yeah,
Yes.
it was a very
Just the
rushed
cards-
and yeah.
The cards aligned to where we could make it happen, and so we made it happen.
Nice. Okay, what's the day 2 park?
Day 2 was Legoland.
Yes.
Well,
We'll skip
We'll go
that.
Day 2 for
Disney.
Day 2.
Yes, because then the next day we did Universal.
And then we did Adventureland.
Yeah, that's Islands of Adventure. That's Universal. Islands of Adventure.
Oh, I meant
of
the
Adventure.
oh my gosh.
Animal.
Animal Kingdom. That's
Did
what
you
I
take the
meant.
monorail there? I'm just joking. I did not take the monorail there. Everyone believes there's a monorail. There's no monorail.
No
There's
monorail.
no monorail.
Well,
We did Animal Kingdom.
yes. Sorry, you just made me think about another pro tip.
Yeah.
We learned later on that you could start booking your fast passes before the park actually opens, which is different from Disneyland.
Right.
Because Disneyland, you can't start booking until you're like in the park.
And that's
And
important to know.
I didn't learn that till day 3. So
Yeah.
Oh, man.
yeah.
And so, yeah, because we were like, why are all the tickets gone? Like, we just barely got here. The
fast passes are already for 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, so we couldn't
cow.
figure that out.
Busy day.
Like literally, like we got into Animal Kingdom, and I, we bought the Disney Plus or Disney Genie Plus, and then I went to go, I got our first Fast Pass, and then I went to go get the paid Fast Pass for Pandora Flight of Passage attraction. Like literally, we were there like at the park opening, and it was like 30 minutes before the park closed. It was like 7:30.
Yeah.
I think was when our Fast Pass was up.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, okay.
Yes. But I do like Adventureland. Let's see here. It's just the ride for Avatar that was really good. I would go.
I've never done that one.
Yeah, I
missed
haven't
out.
been to
Yeah,
Avatar
you've done
Land.
something that nobody in my family's done.
Yeah.
Actually, we did several things, but we'll get into that one later.
Yes. That one was definitely worth just going into that park or land itself.
Just think of it, for those who may not understand what the Flight of Passage attraction, think of it kind of like a Soarin' ride, but instead of sitting in a chair, you're sitting in kind of like a motorcycle seat. So you're like kind of like hunched forward, like holding on to, like you're sitting in a motorcycle.
So it's like the E.T. ride at Universal.
Except they don't butcher your name. Go home, John. He said your name. And then 20 years later, like, he was saying my name. He was so wrong. Learn phonetics, E.T.
But I actually really like seeing Tough to Be a Bug again, because that's been gone from California for a
It's a
while.
scary show.
You'll never hear
is
more screams
so
and tears
scary.
from kids than that one.
When the spiders come
remember.
down.
Or the poke in the back. They're like,
Yeah, yeah, our youngest, he didn't like the poking.
I'm sure he did not
He
like
didn't
that.
like that.
I just remember I was like, I'm gonna go. When I was a CP, I watched the show, and then the scene where all the spiders go down, I was like, this is scary, and then there's so much crying, and I'm like,
Just the baby cry. You never realize when someone says, like, a lot of kids are scared of this. Unless you're like, it sounds like a horror story.
No. And then I also enjoyed the ride Everest.
Oh, I love that.
It's the best coaster.
Did you throw a hair tie at the end?
She did not.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's
was
okay. It's only for those who have done it multiple
I was
times.
just
Yes. Well, Peter went on first with our son, and then do the rider swap. He got to go again, kind of, or maybe we had an extra ticket because
Our oldest, our oldest got the benefit because he participated in all the rider swaps, except for one. He didn't do Flight of Passage again because he was a little sick after the first time. But he enjoyed the ride. He was just a little sick.
Well, yeah, because the day before at a different park, we kept watching those 3D movie park rides, and he just
Universal.
he ended up getting sick from a lot of those
Motion
rides.
sickness, okay.
Yes, he was discovering that about himself. He couldn't go twice on those rides.
Sorry, that comes from me.
Let's ride Space Mountain again.
No.
Yeah. But overall, like, it wasn't one of my favorite parks. I was always lost because the tree is just not a good reference as to knowing where you're at in the park.
Because it looks the same on all sides.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a
obviously
good point.
there's
I never
angles.
thought of it
It is a
that
good
way.
point.
It is. I always feel lost when I go to Animal Kingdom. I don't really, if I'm not looking at the map, I don't really know where
That's
I
true.
am.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gorgeous tree. I'm no issues with the tree. I'm just was constantly feeling lost all day.
And also the Rafiki's Planet Watch area was an utter waste of time.
I never did that. Because I knew
It was my
garbage.
first time doing it. And it was like, we walked there, and like the petting zoo was like, you couldn't even reach the animals because like they don't want you, because like there's areas what's kind of roped off where the animals hang out. And like if they're out, you can pet them. But if they're in there, you're not allowed to like pet them. And so
Boundaries.
like
Yes.
you could pet like
They've got
a pig.
unions.
But you could pet like 2 pigs, and that was like the only thing you can pet. Like the other thing that was there wasn't. Yeah, there just wasn't anything to do over
It's
there.
really disappointing, that area, how it's
Honestly,
turned out.
Get on the train and just ride the train.
Yeah.
And just when they tell you to get off, just stay on and just
Like, oh, I forgot my wallet back there.
Yeah.
I need to go back right
Yeah,
away.
just don't waste your time
The
with
best thing to do is the Wilderness Explorer. That's why you go there.
And that's exactly what I was going to bring up next is our son dressed up as a wilderness explorer.
Love it.
Aw.
And
He was gonna wear the shirt on an earlier day. I'm like, no, you're gonna save it for this day. And
I
he
want
got
to.
ton of compliments. Like everyone was like,
Do you feel like a rock star?
yo,
Oh,
totally
yeah.
did.
Yes,
Oh, that's
and we got a
awesome.
picture.
Because they don't sell that shirt at Disney World. The
Mm-mm.
Wilderness Explorer shirt.
You would think they would,
But they don't. They don't sell it there. And so everyone's like, oh, where? Like, I had at least 3 different parents ask me where to find that shirt. And it's at Disneyland.
So we should go to the parking lot and start selling.
We'll come up with like a trench coat. Want to buy a Wilderness Survivor shirt? Oh, put that away!
Yeah, on it, and that's why we went to that area of the park is because they had a couple of badges for our son to mark off.
Did you get all the badges done?
No.
We did not.
It rained, and so some of the places closed because of the lightning and things like that.
Correct.
And so
But we heard from the
we got
workers
most of
there
them,
that they've been doing that for a very long time, and that they have people
You buy it
come
on
back.
eBay.
Well,
No,
no.
I'm just joking.
Well, they have people come back from when they were like kids from like 10, 15 years ago to like finish off their books. So,
That's cool.
Yeah.
so I put our son's book, in a safe spot. So if
maybe
we
when we
do
go back in 5-10 years.
So when he goes back 21 years old, he can finish.
Or you
can
could
finish
threaten him. It's all like, I'll throw your book away if you keep acting up. No, Mom, I gotta
But
finish it!
he loved that. Like, he got into that. Like, he was like dedicated. Like, we got to go to all the places.
Oh,
and we
that's
tried.
cool.
We tried.
Yeah.
That was
But that was probably the best part of that land. We got a good picture of him with Kevin and
Big
just
Bird.
yeah, the big bird. And then, they do educational things for the kids. You can't just get the badge. They have to sit through their like 2-minute spiel and then they can get their badge or whatever.
Yeah.
Or they'll have to do activities like when we were at the train. What is that place?
The Rafiki's Planet Watch.
Yeah.
Right. There was like an area where they had to find like these bugs in the scavenger hunt, and so like he's looking for all of them just to get his badge. So they do like little interactive games as well. So I know our kids really like that.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most like underrated things to do. Like at Animal Kingdom as a CP when I went, there was like me and a group of my like friends. We went one day and like we did it all, and it took all day basically
It
to
does.
do it.
It's very time consuming.
But it was so fun. Like you learn things like, in soaps or some like soaps have like the beads in it and it's plastic, and they're like, don't do that because that plastic ends up in the ocean and then the fish eat it and then you eat the fish and you're eating plastic. And I'm like, oh my
And then
gosh.
you have a kid in the corner eating his bottle. And you're like, well, that's one way of eating the system.
I remember like this one conversation our son was having with, the what do you call it, the badge.
The Explorer.
The
Well,
Explorer, yeah. And he was totally like ratting us out.
Oh,
like
he was.
when he was talking
yeah.
about, they were talking about spiders, and they were like, what do you do when you see a spider? And Bentley's like, we just kill it. we smash it with a shoe. And they're like, well, you should really try to like, put a cup over it with the paper and just like move the spider because spiders are good.
He's like, nope.
No.
Let God sort him through.
Well, that was a lesson he took with him like the whole time, and he was like telling everyone like spiders are like he came
Our
home to
friends.
spiders are our friends.
Yes.
Oh.
But it was
Until he gets bitten. He's like, they're not our friends. Friends do not bite friends.
But it's awesome because like these little things actually do make an impact on kids, like choices.
Oh, I
and
still
awareness.
remember the Full House DJ, public service announcement about turning off the water when you brush your teeth because you don't want to waste water, and it stuck with me like 25 years later. I'm all like, gotta turn it off. DJ from Full House, told me to turn it off. Just like dumb things like that just stick in your mind.
Yeah.
I'm making a difference.
But the things I didn't like about the park, I didn't like the dinosaur ride.
Yeah, that was such a letdown.
Like,
Oh,
So
it's-
loud, isn't it?
It wasn't even that loud. It's just so what's disappointing is it's like meant to be like this big scary attraction, and it's all like we drive up. Oh, what's this dinosaur? Oh, it's a big scary one, and it's just like standing there. It wasn't even moving. It's just like, it's that one. Let's keep moving. It's like, all right.
But you guys had done Jurassic Park previously, and then you come to do Dinosaur, and you're like, whoa, this is different.
Well, they've also been having issues with their animatronics lately.
I think they aren't investing any more money into that land because I think it's gonna go soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's anyone that says it's better than Indiana Jones doesn't know what they're talking about.
They've never ridden Indiana
Well,
Jones.
maybe because they've never ridden Indiana Jones, because it's always closed when they ride it.
Right.
In that case, it may be better.
Which park had the Indiana Jones show?
That's the last day.
Hollywood
studios.
Studios.
Was that Studios?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we ready to move on to studios?
No. that's
No,
not-
I was just gonna
Right.
say I like that ride if it was Magic Kingdom. I'm sorry. It's hard to keep track of the shows
Yeah.
of which ones were in each park.
Is there anything you would have done differently in Animal Kingdom?
Differently in Animal Kingdom. Yeah, I would probably personally, this might be an unpopular opinion,
Oh, say it. I want to hear it.
just because I can get my fill with the Disneyland park, I would just do half day Magic Kingdom and half day
Animal
Animal
Kingdom.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is your thought on that, Father Yoda?
Well, I'm kind of curious because you just said it could have been all day with your son at that one
Doing the Wilderness Explorer.
during
Correct.
the Wilderness Explorer, so you would be cutting out that experience.
Cutting them in
This
half.
is coming from a perspective of when we go back,
Mm-hmm.
this is probably what we'll probably end up doing.
Like if we did a couples trip, like
Oh, okay.
kind of feeling. Like for me myself, of course, like if we don't have very many badges anyways to do an adventure.
No, there's only like 4 or 5 left.
yeah,
that
Yeah.
we did almost all of them. But
But
that's
you have another son that probably did not
sure.
enjoy it the same way that the older
Don't
one
guilt
did.
her.
Who says he's coming with us?
Okay, all right.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm just
Different
saying, for me,
experience.
myself, and my
Yeah.
experience, like,
You don't need a whole day at
correct.
Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom again.
I don't think I ever spent
Right.
more than 4 hours in Animal Kingdom ever.
It's true.
I would just like, oh, it's getting hot. Gotta leave. Don't want to be here
It's
any
true.
longer.
Thinking about it, I was like, I would probably spend all day at the other parks, but Animal
How
Kingdom.
about Cali
yeah.
Rapids? Did you guys like that
We
one?
didn't make it to that one.
Oh, that one's a nice
Yes,
one to
that's
cool
a
you
nice
down.
Because when we were going to do it, it started raining, so it
Ah.
closed.
I did like the safari.
Yes, the
Um,
Kilimanjaro
right.
Safari.
Okay, that
Is
one
that
was
where you
good.
look for poachers? They don't do poachers.
They don't do
anymore.
poachers
Simba
anymore.
what?
Oh,
Simba
Oh,
Simba
what?
I was totally saying it. I was like, Simba 1, Simba 1. Yeah.
But I would prioritize like the rides I couldn't ride at
Mhm.
Disneyland
Yeah,
or Magic
that was
Kingdom.
the focus.
That's kind of what we did on our trip as well.
And honestly, Cali River Rapids is not that great compared to Grizzly River.
But
No,
if you're
okay.
looking for something that's good to do at
Yeah,
Animal Kingdom,
it's in the top 5, I think.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's not much.
No.
You say
There's
top 5,
really
and I'm all
not.
like, what? That's like.
All right, I'm
literally-
sorry. It's like 5 out of 7. There we go.
I want to say like just overall in all the theme parks, the parks were really crowded. You know, Disneyland, I know it's crowded, but the lines, I just feel like they
Because
move
there's
better.
more attractions
Correct.
to distribute the crowds, whereas at Disney World there's fewer attractions, so therefore they have the same level of crowds as Disneyland, but since there's fewer attractions, those lines are extremely long, which makes Genie Plus seem like an amazing deal if you can make it work for you, which sometimes
Right.
it's hard to do because you're not the only one that has that thought process.
Right.
So you do Genie
And a lot
Plus.
of times, like when we did the Genie Plus, like we couldn't even use it.
Right.
We maybe only could use it for 3, maybe 4 rides.
The
at
attractions
most.
that you could use it for were ones that were walk-ons anyway.
Correct. Versus like Disneyland, when I use it, I feel like I get my money's worth out of it.
Yeah.
What's the Finding Nemo musical back up?
It
and
was
running?
back, yes.
Did
Mhm.
you go to that?
We did.
We did.
That's a good one.
How was your feeling of the new version?
Well, she never saw the
So-
old one,
but
so
so what was your
we'll give her
feeling of-
perspective first.
I'm gonna I'm gonna be a little embarrassed to say this. I think I fell asleep during the show because it was in the afternoon, and yeah, for what I saw, it was good, but I can't give you.
Well, how
a
was the
full
nap?
opinion.
Would you rate the nap good?
Is it a good place to nap?
It is a great place
It's not
to
as good
nap.
as
Okay.
Hall of Presidents,
All right,
man.
that's
That's
good.
the best place to take a nap. Hall of
It's
Presidents.
true.
It's important to know where to take a nap at the park if you're going to be there all day. You need a napping place, so that's
Yes.
good to know. No.
It was the hot part of our day. It was halfway through the day. Good place
It was
to
about
nap.
halfway through the day.
It's the hottest park.
Mhm.
It is the hottest part.
So, Peter, you've seen the original
And I'm
show.
a big fan of the original show.
And you've seen the abbreviated version. How would you comment?
So, for they hit all the main songs. So they all have the same vibe that they did originally. You
They've got
miss
the
out.
shark song,
Yep,
right? Okay,
yep.
good.
The shark songs in it, like all the main songs are there, but a lot of some of the like minor songs were cut out, like because like Nemo has like 3 like small ones where it's all like,
out of the whole show. Finding what?
sort of, because like there's I think they gave him like 1 reprise where because they have like the like Not My Dad and There's My Dad and like things like those reprises, and those are really good, and those always give me emotions, and most of those got cut, and so I was like, ugh. And some of the funny gags with like with the rumor getting around like Marlin's coming to find Nemo as it goes from fish to fish to fish, and they cut the whole penguin gag where it's all like the penguins are flying and they're all like, yeah, did you hear this? And it goes, wait a second, we're penguins, we can't fly. Oh!
yeah.
Like they cut that. So like it's a shortened version of the show. There's not as many performers, so like I was a little disappointed, but it's a good shortened book report version of the original, which is a book report version of the movie. So it's a book report of a book report, basically.
So it's a cliff note of the cliff notes?
Yes.
Man, that's every kid's dream.
I get the idea you would go again.
Well, because I love the music. So, like, as I said, they hit all the main songs. Does it have the same emotional impact that the other one did? No. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We ready to leave Animal Kingdom? Yeah, let's move on. Epcot,
Yes.
day 3.
Day 3.
What was your impression of Epcot? Did you...
Is the graveyard still there?
No, it's gone. The graveyard's
They
gone.
took out the graveyard?
Yeah.
They used to have these, like, giant monolithic, like,
So we
stones that they put people's faces on, and it looks...
So-
like something post-apocalyptic happened, and we're the survivors, and we must pay a remembrance before we go into the park.
They are still there. You can still see InSync's face plastered on it, but they've moved it, instead of on these like gray slabs of stone, they've got like kind of like a construction wall where they've kind of put
Oh,
them
so
there.
now I can put my ribbons and flowers on them.
Right. Right. But that's at the front of the park. We actually, because we stayed at the Art of Animation, so we took the gondolas. So we took the
She made it into
the
the
back
World
entrance.
Showcase.
Okay.
We had the back entrance, so we never went through the front entrance.
Right.
We did go to the front entrance.
How was the
Gondola.
Skyway?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
gondolas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It was awesome.
It was great.
It's the best thing.
You think it would be hot, but it's not. It get a nice little breeze. Our
As long as
kids
it's
loved
moving,
it.
perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
And it didn't stop for us. It didn't really stop.
Mm-mm. It slowed down for like a little bit, once
Right.
maybe, but that was.
I think
not
that was
a
at
big
night.
deal.
I think
Yeah.
it was at night.
It's all
So.
good.
So you start getting nervous. Oh, we're slowing down a little too much here.
Go to the bathroom before you get on the gondola.
Yeah.
And never stopped anybody else.
There's a little
Why is my
window.
seat sticky? I got chocolate. Oh.
So Epcot, I definitely would want to do a full day again. There were certain things I feel like I didn't get to have the full experience. One, just because I don't have all my taste buds, and I know that's...
There's a lot of food. There's a lot of food in Epcot.
Yeah.
Correct. And I just feel like there was a lot of it I was missing out on.
We were there at the start of Food and Wine Festival.
Oh, man, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, definitely, I know I want to try it again with capabilities of trying more things in that nature. They had the best ride that we rode out of all the theme parks we went. Which
I heard you wanted to even buy another ticket just to ride it again.
I'm serious. That's how I felt. Like, just one more time while we were there. It was the Guardians ride.
The Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind roller coaster.
I kid you not. I got off that ride, and I couldn't tell if it was, like, the wind or, like, I was crying, but I was, like, wiping, like, water from my eyes, and I was, like, smiling, like, this is the best ride ever.
Oh, cool.
It was a really good ride. I was like, they need to put this ride in Disneyland. I'm like, how do we put this here? Maybe we can take out the theater, next to the other Guardians ride, just to like take out monsters. I'm just coming up with crazy ideas.
Never.
Like, this ride is awesome.
We're bringing the paparazzi ride again.
No, it was an incredible ride, basically.
It was the first one. So because like we had as of the time we went, and as of right now, you still need a boarding group to either that or you can pay for a fast pass. But we got a boarding group first thing in the morning, so it was our first ride of the day. Mm-hmm. So in a way, it was kind of disappointing. We started on a high.
Oh boy,
and
that's tough.
The whole day, I was like, I want to go back to that ride. It was very. I couldn't keep my mind off of it. Like, it was that great.
What was your favorite World Pavilion that you visited?
Okay, I don't remember which one it's called.
I just
the
named
one
them
with
all off.
The one with I know. Is it? Oh my gosh. The one
what
with
did it
Frozen,
look like?
Frozen ride area.
Oh,
that would be
Norway. Oh, did you and the boys enjoy the Frozen attraction?
They did.
Well.
Were you going like, bring back the oil rigs? I want the Norwegian
there is a story
Apple
behind
infomercial at the end.
So I will say, like, me and Bentley liked the ride. Our son, the little one, was a little freaked out about a certain part in the ride. He's been really nervous about the rides that simulate Splash Mountain. So he was not loving that ride, but anyways, go ahead and tell your story why you don't like that ride.
Well, it wasn't that I don't like the ride. The ride was nice. It was fun.
It's really pretty.
It's a good overlay. I do think it's better than Maelstrom.
Blasphemy.
I know. Coming from a person who loves old Epcot,
yeah,
I think it's better than Maelstrom. I mean, are there a couple elements I miss? I miss the wall that peeks outside into World Showcase.
They don't do that anymore?
No, it's blocked off.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Because you used to hit that back wall and then they, like, pivot you.
Right.
Does it fit in with where it is in the attraction? So,
yeah. So, like, you don't have that element anymore. And so, the part that was not fun for me was, you go down the big drop at the end, and they shoot water jets at you.
Did you get it right in the face?
And I got it right in the face. Everyone else was like dry as a bone or whatever. This one, it was just a stream of explosion of water right on my face, on one spot on my face. Just like, I was like, right in my eyes. Yeah, it was just all like, really?
Because, like, the boat itself has, kind of like a pirate's boat.
Yeah.
Where there's other families in front of us. So it's not like just us on the boat. Like, it literally missed everybody on the boat. We're in the very back of the boat, and it gets him right in the
face. I was like,
perfect.
Oh my gosh.
It's just Bob Chapek getting back at you.
I know.
He's like, I got you in the face. He's got all squirt gun. It's a Super Soaker 100.
It felt like it was just a jet right in my face. I was like,
Did you badmouth me and my merchandise idea? Don't forget to buy a foam axe on your way out.
Okay, so that's a pro tip for those with glasses. Be aware.
Yes.
You may end up
Could happen.
Get a
totally
jet in your face.
slipping
Yeah.
in the glasses and-
But one of the activities that they had at Epcot that I guess you could say we bought into was in
Yes.
order to get a souvenir.
And you don't necessarily have to buy into this activity, but if you do, you get a prize.
Yeah, so if you do, you get a cup or whatever. But they had Remy from Ratatouille in all the land areas.
For the Food and Wine Festival.
Correct. And so we would have to mark what kind of fruit or food item Remy was next to. And we
so he
turned
was
that
scattered
in.
all throughout World Showcase.
Correct.
So, like, you had to, like, walk through all different dark alleys of the pavilions to try to find...
Remy.
The boys like this?
Oh, yeah, they loved
Oh,
it.
cool.
They were excited. They're like, where is he? We gotta find him. And
There would be some.
there was
some
one
of them were really
I
hard.
had to cheat. I had to cheat on one of them.
Did you look online?
Yeah.
So they do this like find a character every festival now. So Food and Wine, it's Remy, but
Is Kim Possible still there?
no.
Can you get the flip phones? It was like Kim Possible had been off for years, but they still had like the adventure.
They changed
things.
it to Phineas and Ferb.
And
Oh,
then they
yeah.
got rid of it overall.
Yeah.
Because all I remember hearing was that doo, 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 all
Yes.
throughout the park when I was working there. 10 years ago, is Kim Possible still there?
That's fun.
But yeah, I did like going through. I don't know what you call it, the World Showcase,
Yeah.
whatever it's
Yeah.
called. Just overall, it was really cool to visit all the areas. I think, was it Canada? Like, we kind of found this, like, hidden gem
That was
there.
the one I had to cheat on, was Canada.
Because we were looking everywhere for Remy.
Well, it
in
was
that
deceiving
area.
because, like, they have it laid out as, like, basically the order you'll find Remy in the countries. Well, like, it was, like, Canada and Australia were, like, swapped on the map. So they made you think that, like, you were going to find Remy after you passed, like, the Australia booth or whatever.
So it's tricky.
But it was like
Yes.
swapped, and so like we walked all over the Canada Pavilion looking for this thing.
I
and
blame the
couldn't find
cartographer on that one. They didn't get the message on that.
Chapek made that map just for
it. Just
me.
for me. yeah.
for Peter!
But no, we saw like this cool like water like fall
Yeah, they have
area,
the
and then they
big
had.
waterfall there. Yep.
Yeah.
Did they have animals in the water area, or is that the other
No.
park? Okay, I'm sorry, but was it the Apple
Yeah. So
Wood
they
restaurant?
yeah. So like there's normally a show. There's a Canada
Oh,
show there, as you can tell, with the
Canada.
Circle Theaters, but they had a giant like Apple booth in the theater, like
Oh.
it's big.
The show's not going right
No,
now?
it's a giant Apple food restaurant stand
Oh,
for the Food and Wine Festival.
interesting.
And I might have liked it over there just because it was a little cooler,
Yes.
and it was just like fun, going through, all the steps and
It's caves.
Like little-
and-
Yeah.
more exploring
yes.
to do.
There's a little bit more to explore than most other pavilions. Some pavilions, it's like
Canada's very beautiful.
It's great for pictures and
Mhm.
Did you guys do the American Pavilion?
timing was not on our side on that one.
How un-American. of
I
you.
know. That was one of my
I
big
love
regrets.
going in the
That
rotunda.
was, I really wanted to do that, but we had Ratatouille return
So yeah, we went
time
all the way
that
over there.
contradicted with the next show time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
Yeah.
all right.
Did you guys like Ratatouille? Was this your first time riding?
Yeah.
Yes.
First time riding Ratatouille, we got off the ride and I couldn't put my finger on it as to why I didn't really care for that ride. And then he said something about it not having any animatronics, and I was like, yeah.
You're
like,
looking at a screen the whole time.
That was
Yeah.
my feeling when I went through it for the first
Like, I
time this
couldn't-
summer. I was like, okay, I'm watching a movie, but you're jerking me around, and I'm in this like immersive theater. Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah. Like, I feel like it's missing something on the ride. Like, it's a cute concept, but it just, I don't know.
it's hard with Ratatouille because when Ratatouille first started, it was in Disneyland Paris, and it was like the first of its kind of trackless.
Well, it's the first
Attractions.
one since the Winnie the Pooh ride at
Right.
Tokyo.
Right, so it was like a trackless ride system, which now you see in Rise of the Resistance, Mickey's Runaway Railroad, so it's not...
Hey, you forget about Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters.
Yes, Luigi's
Those are so
Rollick.
stupid.
And so it's not as, like, advanced as some of these other attractions, and, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where some of the disappointments coming from.
I had a hard time following the story when I wrote it in Paris, so maybe it was just the jerking around and too much to look at, but I couldn't.
Yeah, you're trying to take it
Couldn't
all
follow.
in, and you're just like, oh, okay, we're doing this, and we're going here
Like,
now.
they have one good scene, and that's the refrigerator scene. That's, like, the coolest scene of the attraction, and that's the only scene that they show in any of the promotion, because the rest of it is a giant movie scooter screen. So
would you say skippable?
It would be skippable for me.
if you haven't written it before,
Would
it's
you-
worth riding
Would
once.
you buy
No.
a fast pass for it?
Mm-mm.
Just for, I mean, I would get a fast pass for it if I
Oh,
could.
because the standby's horrific.
Yeah, but I
They make
mean,
you stand by the perfume, like, building.
No.
it's, yeah, I mean, it's, if
It's
you
like
haven't
even-
been on it, I would say still go on it. Like, it's still a good experience, but it's just not my favorite, you know?
There's
but,
not necessarily a lot of attractions in Epcot to do,
It's more
So-
kid friendly.
but we did get to see Impression de France
I love that.
because that show's only happens at night now because
Oh.
it's a Beauty and the Beast sing along during the day.
I'll never forget where the people are like, please do not.
Please do not fall asleep.
This is my country.
This is my home country. I love that. When he said that, I was like, I'm going to fall asleep.
Take your shoes off. Just don't you dare. It's like the cat. Like, don't do that. His shoes are off.
Get my nightcap on.
Snuggie.
Yeah, but no, it was good. It's definitely a park I would probably do an all day again, just because I feel like there were certain things we didn't experience.
Well, we
in full.
didn't do two of the big thrill rides. We didn't get to do Test Track or Mission Space at all.
And was it
Right.
just like time-wise?
Yeah,
Like,
Time
just-
was part of it. We were also pretty tired from the day.
Come on, just stick your head outside your car when you're driving. Like, it's Test Track!
That's basically what it is.
We did a lot of backtracking that day. So like
A lot of zigzagging.
a lot of
That's
zigzag.
Yeah,
hard.
right. You come in the park, your first ride is you've come into World Showcase and you're at the front of the park.
Right.
That's the
Yes.
hardest thing because, like, first thing in the morning, World Showcase is the best place to be, for
It is.
sure.
But we were kind of forced to go to. I didn't want to, but like when they said you're boarding group 17, I'm like, well, we're first thing in the morning. All right.
But
They're zigzagging.
There's
yeah.
not many, like, big popular attractions other than, like, Ratatouille and, like, Frozen or, like, the
we
big
skipped
ones.
Soarin'. We didn't do Soarin' because
No,
it's the
that's
same.
garbage.
The only thing different is the last scene of the ride where instead of flying over Disneyland, you're flying over Epcot. That's the only difference. We didn't do that
Do you
one.
steal a
Do you guys do
cucumber?
Crush?
We did do the. Oh, we didn't do.
The
Seas?
the
we,
talking.
we
with
didn't do
Crush.
Turtle Talk with Crush.
But did you
We
do
did.
Finding Nemo?
Did we? I don't remember if we
We
did.
did
We
do a
did do it.
Finding
We did
Nemo
do
one.
it.
It's a kid, like your youngest would probably
We
like
did.
that
We
one.
did watch the show. I do remember. We did see Turtle Talk with Crush.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So what was something you didn't like? So Ratatouille was kind of that.
I did not like. Is it the Three Caballeros?
The
You didn't like
Mexico.
the Mexico ride.
I actually do enjoy those characters because my kids actually really like those characters.
From
and
the
they watch
show.
they watch the show, so I know who they are. And going on the ride, I was like kind of really disappointed in the ride.
They
Did
were
we hype
shoot-
it up too much for you?
I think I felt like
They
that
were
one had
shoot-
too many screens as well.
They were shoehorned into the attraction because nobody was going to it before, and guess what? Nobody's going to it now.
Shocker.
So it should be changed to
Coco.
Coco.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
please.
Absolutely.
But I think the fear with that is once they change it to Coco, where is the queue gonna go? Because
too big.
it's too tight in that pavilion.
It's not a very big queue.
They would have to get rid of the gift shops.
Mm.
Oh no, but that's the most fun part of it. Like, it's so magical. Like, you're I'm indoors, but I'm outdoors inside. It's fun being in the Mexico Pavilion.
I think that's the biggest struggle with that. Because I think
You'd have to have the queue coming from the outside.
That was probably the hardest Remy, was finding the Mexico one.
Well, because
This was towards the beginning, so like this is when we're trying to figure out how the
It all
scavenger hunt worked, where they're hiding them.
Right. And well, I asked a cast member, I was like, are they going to be inside any of these buildings? They're like, no, they're going to be all outside because we're like looking indoor and out, like everywhere. And so when she narrowed that out, we were like, okay,
It was
we know
that
that we're
one,
going to be outside.
And then Japan. Japan was the hard one. That one took a while to find.
They got some gardens and stuff.
Yeah.
Did Africa have one?
No.
Okay.
No. But overall, it was really good. I guess
we didn't stay for the show, but we did get on the gondola, so we watched the show from the gondola.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
cool.
Yeah.
So there was no line to get onto the gondola, and we watched a good portion of the show from our gondola. No music, but you know what? The kids got to enjoy the fireworks without the masses amounts of
Crowds. That's the biggest thing.
That's what Disney Plus is for.
Right.
Watch it there.
It's on Disney Plus now. Yeah, it was basically, we had the choice of either staying to see the show, because the show was about to start, going back to the hotel, or going to Test Track. Those were basically kind of like what we were debating on. I was kind of tired. You were tired.
Yeah,
we were
the
done.
end of the day, and I was just like, you know what? I would rather just go home and avoid the crowds than do one more thing. And
Yeah.
Yeah, you get tired.
Guilt on
You're like,
Yeah.
nah, I've seen fireworks.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No, you push through. You push through.
Yeah, that's what Father Yeller does. He's,
If-
he's
if-
an open to close kind
If
of
it
person.
was just me and Casey, I probably would have pushed her to stay. But
bribe her. Hang up your feet.
well, honestly, I mean, she could have just gone off on her own, but I stuck with her.
So you're basically saying, if it was me,
You would say.
I
Yeah.
would probably stay, but I'm an anomaly, so I'm weird.
What's
All
the
right.
other rides we went on? We went on, oh my gosh.
We did the Living with the Land, the Imagination ride.
What's that one? The dragon thing.
Yeah, that's the Imagination ride.
Oh.
garbage.
Yeah, no, it was. But
You got to go up to the third level, or what level is that?
I
The,
don't think-
the DVC club floor.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah.
I mean, we got off the ride, and there was a couple characters, and my
Yeah, that's
son
where
really
they do
wanted.
character meet and greets. Yeah.
Yeah, my son was excited to meet Vanilla P and oh my gosh, Joy from
Yeah.
Inside Out. So yeah, he wanted to see them. He's like, "Mom, let's go." I was like, "All right." So
Okay.
I mean, that part was okay. But
Nice. All right, last park, Hollywood Studios, your old home park.
Yes.
No, it's not.
So-
MGM.
Oh,
That
MGM.
Totally different park.
MGM's my old park. This is not MGM anymore.
No, it's
There
not.
is about 90% different now. So.
MGM movies now available on Amazon Prime.
but on that day
Not
was
sponsored.
Peter's birthday,
Yes.
and so he wanted to ride the Tower of Terror first.
Did you get a button?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
She got me a button, and my birthday happens to also coincide with the Tower of Terror's birthday.
Ooh, fun
Ooh.
fact.
So I got to ride Tower of Terror, first ride of the day for my birthday.
Oh.
Yeah.
First and last ride of the
Oh,
day.
that's good.
Yeah, well, the first time, actually, Peter was kind of really sad because he was, like, really disappointed. Because I guess it wasn't working properly, you know. I don't know what to expect.
So the ride system, there's two different ride systems. They're working on one half, so the line moves a little slower because they're only running one side of the building. And then the doors in the main shaft were all open. So like when you're going across the fifth dimension, you see the light
Oh, that's the worst.
from the outside. And I'm all like, what the heck?
And then
Like, what's the point?
They killing the show.
It killed the show.
Yeah.
it did. And then I'm expecting...
So it was better at night when it was all
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
So.
And then I'm also expecting drops a little bit like Guardians. And I was
No.
like, oh my gosh, this is like really choppy. Like, kind of almost feeling like a whiplash where I don't get that on.
Were you thrown off
Guardian.
when like the elevator moves
Yeah.
forward?
You're like, what are we doing?
Absolutely. I did not know that was going to happen for
Good.
sure.
I'm glad you were not surprised by that.
No, I think it was funny. Our son kept saying, like, I don't want to stay at that hotel. That's the scary
scary
hotel.
Oh, that's great.
Cute little liners from the kids.
Oh, yeah.
He was like the young one. He'll let you know he doesn't like the ride, but he'll go on it. But he'll tell you he does not like that ride. So, when we went on it again at the end of the night, he's like, I do not like this. I do not like this scary hotel.
It's good that he believes that he doesn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Whereas our older one, when he was that age, he would just run.
He
and
would
so,
run.
Like, out
He
of
would
the line.
just refuse. But our
He would
youngest,
fight it.
he just acknowledges like, I don't like this.
And
doing
Just
it.
to
Never
recognize
like
your emotions inside and express them so that they don't cause any trouble.
Right.
Did you guys do the rock and roller coaster?
We did.
Did
Yes.
your oldest one do
Yes.
it? Wow.
Oh,
He
he's
liked that
become
one.
a thrill junkie.
He's a thrill junkie.
He's a thrill
now.
junkie. He rode it twice.
At the end of this trip, or during this trip, he goes, can we stop riding these baby rides? Like, I want to ride more, like,
And he's-
fast
Take him to
rides.
Six Flags. He's
He's
all
8
like,
years
I want to go
old.
back to
He's 8.
Disneyland.
8 years old. Okay.
Yeah. But I want to say beginning of this year, he hadn't even been on, like, the Incredicoaster. Like, he was so
That's one
fearful
the
of
best
that ride.
ones.
And now he, like, loves that ride. And
Disney
Yeah.
Park is a great introduction to like coasters and thrill rides.
Yeah.
yeah, it was good. It was good.
So, do you do Galaxy Edge?
Yes. So there was a perk. So Galaxy's Edge is exactly the same at Disneyland.
Yeah.
I felt it was a little smaller because I felt like the distance between where the town is from where Rise of the Resistance was, there was a lot less hiking.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember this at Disneyland. You walk for a while before you get to
Yes.
the shopping area of
That's true.
Pod 2. But one nice thing was Rise of the Resistance was a really short standby. It was like an hour, and that's pretty good
It
for
was-
Rise of the Resistance.
I think it was less than that.
It was
like-
less than an hour. So
it was like
we didn't
45
wait
minutes.
outside at all. We were at the indoor portion of the queue right away.
Well, let me put an asterisk in it. Like, the line when we stepped in said it was going to be 80 minutes.
Right.
But it only took us 45.
Right.
So we
That's
were
the
pleasantly
best.
surprised.
Of course, you're like 40 minutes, and then you're like 2 hours later, like, I don't think it's that time. This isn't fun.
So I will say this: I think just because Disneyland, I feel like it's the same ride. So like I wasn't planning on I wasn't necessarily planning on riding that attraction this time. But when I saw the wait, I go, why not? Like, let's
Yeah.
do it. Like, it's a great attraction.
Because it's still better than Disneyland's wait time. I guess.
Right, it's a
Like,
better wait than Disneyland. So if I'm gonna ride it, I didn't even get to ride it last time I went to Disneyland. So
Mhm.
it was good to ride it there.
You've also got Toy Story Land. That's different from Disneyland.
Oh, yeah, that was really great.
Slinky Dog is the big e-ticket in
Really, that coaster?
Hollywood. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Our son, the little
The
one,
youngest,
loved
He
it.
loved it. He
He
had so much
was
fun.
putting his little arms up,
Aww.
afraid of all other coasters, but on that one he's like, go faster, go faster. It was so funny. I was just cracking up.
He was
you know.
cute. But yeah, it was a fun coaster.
I think once
Good family coaster.
yeah. I think once I kind of
I
correlated.
mean, I took my 2-year-old on that one.
Oh, did you?
It's the same one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Oh, different one?
Different
Oh,
than
okay.
a Paris.
Okay.
Paris, that's like a carnival
It's
ride.
a carnival one.
No,
Oh, okay.
this is an actual coaster.
Oh, how fun.
This is
Yeah.
an actual
Okay,
coaster.
I did not take my 2-year-old.
I was all like, no,
That's
no,
bad
you didn't do that.
parenting.
You
all
didn't
right?
do that.
I'm a good one.
So how does it compare with the Go-Go Gadget coaster?
It's longer. It's better. It's
Yeah.
way better.
Yeah, there is like
Like
little.
it's at least like a minute and a half, 2 minutes long. So it's a decent length of a coaster, So whereas Gadgets, it's like 20 seconds and
There's
it's over.
there's a few like features to it that are kind of cool. To where I want to say like pauses you in the ride for a little
There's
bit.
2 launches.
Yeah.
You get launched twice.
Correct. And then like there's I don't know, it's just a different experience, like little dips, consistently for a while. It's a good little kid coaster where they're not freaked out, but like I don't know. It was fun.
Nice.
Like I enjoyed it even as an adult. So
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. The other attraction that's big there is Mickey's Runaway Rail.
So did they take
Well.
down the Chinese
No,
theater?
that's still there.
It's still
It's
there.
still
Yeah.
there. It's still the entrance. Yeah.
we rode Mickey Mouse's ride twice.
Yes.
One we got a fast pass for, and then all day long our little one would not leave us alone until we rode the Mickey Mouse ride again.
Yes.
So we, appeased him to come in on that ride again.
But when we did standby on that, it wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't. It was really good. It's a really great ride, and what's cool about that ride is I want to say the first time we were like in the third seat back, and then the second time we rode it, we were in a second seat.
Something
I guess
like
you
that.
could say from the front of the train, and I felt like I was experiencing the ride.
Anew.
It's
Yeah,
a
I knew,
different.
'cause-
It's a different time
Correct,
every time.
because like every time you're going through it, you're like, oh, I'm noticing this, because they are shifting you around all over the place. So it's not like you're riding the same ride every time, because depending on where you sit.
Probably my big critique is they rush you through those scenes really quick, so like you don't even get a chance to enjoy the scenes that you are in. They just kind of like rush you along, and so you're like, whoa, we're in this really cool, and we left. All right.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it was too bad though, because
that was just kind of my impression of it.
Okay.
So.
Would you want the Great Movie ride, or do you want the Mickey Mouse ride?
I think would be. So I think this is a better solution than the Great Movie Ride. I think it has longer lasting ability than the Great Movie Ride did, because Great Movie Ride is good
Stated.
until it becomes dated, and all those movies that they're like, oh, look at this. How many kids have seen Casablanca? And it's like a big part of the show.
I like the Tarzan one.
Or
Like-
Tarzan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how many kids have seen that? No, not that many. And so it's like, it's cool to look at these old classic movies, but it doesn't resonate with audiences anymore. And updating it, like, sure, you can update it with newer movies. You can add a Star Wars scene or something like that. But, like, again, those will become dated and you'll have to refresh it. Whereas this, I feel like it has the legs to last.
That was the coolest background tour I got to do as a cast member, was through the Great Movie Ride.
Oh yeah.
And you through like the New York scene. They're like, the tour guide's like, walk through any door, and we're like walking through all these like little set doors, and it was just the coolest thing.
It's cool. I had a really good experience on the Great Movie Ride where I was there early in the morning, and I got a guide who was a guided tour, and he did not want to be there. And he was like, I don't know, he was just didn't have the energy. And we got to the like Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch would like talk to you, and he was like, go away, Wicked Witch. Like he had a headache. He was just like, oh, I'll get you. And you're like, okay. He was just like the most unenthusiastic ever going, this is the best ride ever. Unenthusiastic cast members make a ride. I don't know what it is, but it does.
That's funny. No, but I think it was about time that Mickey and Minnie, they got a ride, like
An attraction.
an attraction. Yeah, like a real one instead of just like a walk-in house.
Well, they were actually supposed to get the Toy Story Midway Mania attraction. So like, the whole shooter thing, that was supposed to originally going to be a Mickey Mouse ride when they were developing it, and then they threw Toy Story onto it. So
Love that ride.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
That's a good one.
So, okay.
I will say this: there was one thing that I really wanted to do, and you ended up really enjoying it.
Oh yeah, the Walt Disney show.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did that, and I want to say when they were, covering the history of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, I have my little son like singing the song what song were they singing? What's the Snow White song?
Hi Ho.
Hi Ho, yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
he's
cute.
and he was so loud, and I'm like, shh. He's like, what? I'm just singing. Like,
Hi ho, hi ho.
yes.
Did you take the kiddos to Indiana Jones?
Yes.
Yeah.
How did they react to that? It's such a great show.
We didn't have the best seats.
They
we
still
were
really
we were
liked it.
we were off on the side, so like we didn't have necessarily the most best view, but they enjoyed it.
I mean, that was my only view, so I really liked it.
That's good.
You know.
It's amazing that it's been there since the park opened, and it's held up over all these years. It has not become dated.
Yeah.
So
No, they liked it. It was full of action for them, and they were definitely captivated by it. So.
The person that does Indiana Jones is the same person that does John Smith in Fantasmic.
Makes sense.
have your sons seen Indiana Jones movies?
No.
Ooh.
No, because, well, the thing is, they've become obsessed with Indiana Jones. They've never seen a movie, but because he's now in Fortnite, they love Indiana Jones.
Ah.
And so,
They'll
Okay.
start dressing up like him,
yes.
like the clothes and
Did
Like,
you
they
bust
just
out
find-
your whip?
They
Yes.
do not know about my whip. They have not. Well, they used to play with my whip when when my oldest was younger, but my whip is in my closet.
no, but
Hiding.
they found like something else to, make a whip into, and then they just
Yes.
grabbed a random like hat that looked similar,
Right.
and like he's wearing like a button up and his like nice pants, like just to make sure he can color coordinate as Indiana. I'm like, what the?
That's
are
cool.
you wearing?
right. That makes your heart happy.
Oh, I love Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
They'll come over to my place like, you have all these Indiana Jones books. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm so cool.
All right, so you experienced all 4 of the parks. Which one was your favorite park?
Probably the last one.
Studios.
Hollywood Studios.
Studios. And then I would probably say Epcot, but at the same time, it's hard for me to say, give it a full experience because of my taste buds.
And Peter, what about you? Based off of your recent experience.
Yeah, let it out. Just let out everything.
You're going back to Disney World, but you can only go to one park.
Which one?
Which
I'm
one?
going to Epcot. I'm always going to Epcot.
Okay.
I love Epcot. It's even though it's disgusting to look at today, it's still my favorite part.
Why is it disgusting to
It's
look
under
at?
construction?
It's just a shell of its former self. There's so much that's like not there that used to be so good. Even when I worked there, like I'm not even talking about like old 80s Epcot. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like when I was there in 06, like so much is gone. Like the Illuminations for me will forever be the best fireworks show.
It's a great show.
Ever. Like that was amazing. Fantastic. And to see that be replaced with giant taco barges and the Stargate in the middle of the lake,
Yeah.
it's really disappointing to see that.
What if they actually had Stargate come out of the... Would it be more interesting?
It would be really cool if the Stargate actually functioned like a Stargate. Yeah, that would be really cool.
You could go from park to park, right?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know, just you can tell the state of repair as a whole, in terms of Walt Disney World as a whole, is in need a lot of help. Like, I would probably say there was only like a few attractions that still looked solid. Everything else looked
I know
really,
Haunted Mansion. What's
run
another one
down.
that's like really holds up?
So I would say Seven Dwarfs held up really well.
Oh, yeah.
Like that looked really good. Obviously the new Guardians coaster because it had just opened a couple months ago. So
Two
They
of the
haven't nerfed
newer
it yet.
attractions.
Right.
Yeah.
like it would make sense that those would still look good.
I bet you Tron will look good too. And
Tron
when it
will look
opens-
amazing when that opens, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know, just everything looked really super beat down, barely fun. Like Dinosaur was just disgusting to look at.
Yeah. I feel like in some ways it was just we're dealing with a lot of, just in general, we were dealing with like just random, like the shows were like closed
Right.
that we maybe wanted to see. I couldn't find a fruit stand to save my
Yeah,
life.
that was another thing. Finding fruit in the park was almost impossible.
Yeah, it used to be the African trade like place. You get some fruit.
Yeah.
No, nothing there.
And
I wonder if the humidity
There-
of the
there's
summer
literally
is a
an
factor.
area-
Banana. I never bought bananas when I lived in Florida. They
There-
would be dead instantly.
There's literally an area themed after a farmer's market in Studios on Sunset Boulevard. No fruit there. None.
Yes. And
You
so
get some good ice cream though.
We were waiting for her and our oldest to get off Rock and Roller Coaster.
It's a good-
I was eating.
It's a great ice cream place. Yeah.
yeah, the challenge was, for me, my taste buds right now. Not that I'm a vegetarian, I just can't eat meat with the way my taste buds are, and so I'm just feel like I'm limited to like mac and cheese and maybe. Like, but you can only have that every so often. It's like, I'm like, I need some fruit, or I need, like, potatoes, or I'm like, we did find a place that we were able to find some soup, here and
Yeah,
there.
Mama Melrose at
Yeah.
the Studios.
okay.
Okay.
But,
That was probably like the one nice place that we ate at.
but I could only imagine if, like, that was my real lifestyle, if I was, like, a vegan or vegetarian and trying to eat off these menus and you don't have fruit options.
You have to prep yourself.
Yeah,
as a
Correct.
vegetarian
you have to
go
know
into the
where
park.
to go.
Right. And so, of course, like...
Like where the turkey leg stands are.
I think
Yeah.
Disneyland has more options that way.
Oh,
Oh.
yes, they do.
Yeah. And,
There's
like,
tons of places to
Right.
get fruit at Disneyland. Disney World. I was shocked that you just can't
We couldn't find
it. There was
pickles.
only one place at Magic Kingdom that we could see that sold fruit.
I think Disney World's struggling because, first of all, it's a really busy park because you got a different type of crowd. You got a lot of international, you got all
Yes.
of the East Coast coming in.
mm-hmm.
And then you also got staffing problems, still recovering from COVID.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have the international CPs at Epcot
Really?
for staffing.
You don't have the snarky French people. I loved it when
No.
Americans would speak French to them, and the eye rolls that the French workers would do would be like, "Oh, please don't butcher my language."
Yeah. So none of the international CPs are there yet. I think their program will be starting soon, but
Yeah, I
it's
think
not
it was
there.
announced that they're starting up for, I think, next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just, Casey kind of brought it up with especially with Magic Kingdom. It felt like it's a slightly different version of Disneyland's Magic Kingdom, but it doesn't look as good. It was a lesser of something that's greater someplace else. And so, I mean, obviously, granted, I know we went into the heat of summer, and that played a part in some aspect, and in terms of crowd levels and how comfortable we were and things like that. But it's just the amount of people that were there. There's certain parks that just only have 4 or 5 rides, but you literally can't even ride those rides because they're 4 or 5 hours long, and so it's just kind of and good luck trying to get a Genie Plus reservation because they sell out because there's only so many attractions. So Disney World, forget getting a 5th park. You need to put more attractions, put more shows, give people more things to do in your parks, because in the current state it's in right now, with Universal's new park coming up, Disney's going to see a drop big time.
Yeah, well, and that's something I also want to throw in there. I want to say, the Disneyland, I don't know, customers,
Service.
fans, yeah, they, when you go there, everybody is decked out in their Disney gear, their Mickey ears, everybody.
It's a culture.
Yeah, everybody's ready to do Disney there. Whereas at Disney World, you're getting a lot of world travelers, and so
You don't necessarily have the hardcore fans there.
Oh
Correct.
no, the
And
only ones are the Disney workers.
The locals.
yeah, so I feel in some ways I always enjoy seeing the silly person at Disneyland, just feeling like they're in a magical land because, they're in their special space, and they're just having fun at Disneyland. Whereas Disney World, it didn't feel like that. You know, it
Okay.
didn't feel like people
There's a
could
different
let
energy
loose.
there.
You didn't
People
feel that
just get
magic.
into fist fights a lot.
Oh, you guys were
Yeah.
there for
We
that
were there
time.
for the well, we weren't in the park, but we were in Florida when the one that happened outside Mickey's PhilharMagic took place.
That's when you're gonna throw down.
I know
They
you
saw West
cut
Side
me at
Story.
Mickey's PhilharMagic,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which amazing show still.
It
to
still
this day.
holds up.
Mm-hmm.
Not at Disney, not at California Adventure. Don't just forget that one ever exists. Don't go see Mickey's PhilharMagic California Adventure. Don't just
Unless you need AC.
wait
Yeah.
to go see it at Disney World. It's 1,000 times better there. It's amazing there. Like
So my overall consensus is that if you haven't been to a Disney park in a long time, go ahead and do all the parks. I think because we've been a little spoiled lately, we've been frequenting the California park. I feel like if I had to choose one or the other, I would do the California park. You know, it's like I didn't feel like I got my my fill at the
Yeah.
California park. But if I hadn't been to a Disney park in a long time, I would still want to like enjoy all the parks, if that makes sense.
So if
this
you're
was,
gonna
like,
take
a
your
vacation.
family to a Disney park for the first time, Disney World or Disneyland?
Disneyland, it's cheaper.
yes.
For those on the West Coast, yes.
Yes. Well, I mean, not even just the.
So if I'm
the
coming
flights.
from like the center of the United States, Iowa,
I would still
and I have like, oh, which one do I go? We're right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to Disneyland, or we can go to Disney World.
you go to Disneyland because you get more bang for your buck.
Do you
Yes.
do you think that Disney World is geared more for an older crowd, with all their different resorts and restaurants? Do you think it might cater more? I mean, you were going
Right.
for children, and so it might taint your opinion one way, but I know other people might enjoy the options of the restaurants and
and
the
this
resort
and this
type
is
of
what I tell
experience.
people who ask me, you know, who don't know Disney, like which one's better, Disneyland or Disney World? And I go, well, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for like the food and the experience and like the entertainment, Disney World might be more your thing. If you want to do like rides and be in that environment of Disney culture and
It's a-
history, like Disneyland wins.
It's true the energy is
It's a way different energy.
I've never thought of it.
Disney World's a great park to spend a few hours at, and then like chill and relax at like a resort.
Which
or
we spent a lot more time in the pool than I thought we were going to.
We did. We're in that park almost every day. The pool.
Hotel were you at?
At the Art of Animation.
Okay.
So we were
He
in
was
the
going to say the Floridian.
Would you stay there
We
again?
always say the Floridian.
yes.
Yeah, I would. I would probably not pick the Little Mermaid room.
It's just so far away. It's a long walk.
like Lion King would be okay.
Lion
Finding
King.
Nemo would probably be the best.
Yeah.
And then what's the other one on the other
Cars.
side?
Cars.
Yeah, we were just like
It's the furthest rooms from everything. Like
Yes.
you literally you've got you've got the two resorts. You got the Pop Century on one side of the lake, and you got Art of Animation on the other side of the lake, and then you got the gondola that runs right in between them across the lake. Well, you have to like walk to the other end of your resort to get and all the way around and up to get to the gondola to literally be like
basically
right next to where
backtrack.
the gondola is. Like your rooms are right next to
Yeah.
where the gondola is, and it's just like you have to like walk.
Right.
So
So
far
there's no
away.
shuttle or anything to.
Not at this
No.
resort. At some of the other ones, they do. I think at Caribbean Beach, they have them.
And one thing I do
they
like
do.
about the Disneyland hotel is because, you know, they're limited on space, like the building's taller. And, you know, at the end of the day, you've walked so many, you know, steps. It's just like you just want to get to your hotel room. So I
Last
actually
thing you want to do is
appreciate
get off of it and you'll be like, well, let's go walk for another 20 minutes.
Well,
all
that-
right?
well, that's what happened. We would walk all the way back to the room, and then she would send me to go pick up. We would mobile order food at our hotel,
Oh.
and so I would walk all the way back over there. And
It's true.
come all the way back. It was a lot of
Yeah,
walking.
so as far as like the hotel convenience, I honestly prefer the Disneyland where just you go up higher and then you get a good view of the parks, you know. over it just being spread out. I think because they have all this land, it's like they're like, well, let's use it, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so it's nice that it's like a little bit, you know, spacious, but it honestly,
It was nice.
I
Our,
think-
our pool was nice. I did enjoy our pool.
well, yeah, no, I did, but I wonder if that's the reason why certain elements of Disney World look a little empty or blank or maybe not as well themed, because they are more spread out, so it costs more money to like decorate every
Right.
you know
That's it.
inch of their park
It's
versus
absolutely
Disneyland. You know, it's because they are so jam packed.
Limited.
Yeah, that you
It's a lot more money
yeah.
to repair Disney World than it is
Correct.
Disneyland.
So I see that. I see the why and see what their limitations are, but yeah, just what I've noticed.
Well, thank you for sharing your experience for Disney World. For the most part, it sounded like you guys had a lot of fun.
We did.
but yes.
As like negative as we might sound right now, we did enjoy ourselves. We had a lot of fun, and we will be considering going back sometime. As to when, who knows? Because
Right.
again, I'm very poor right now.
It's expensive. It's expensive going from the West Coast all the way over. But let us know for our followers what your favorite things are at Disney World. What are some of your things you may not like about Disney World?
Or
Follow
Disneyland.
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can send us an email at matterhornyoders@gmail.com. But that's all the time we have. Have a magical day.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember,
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.